and this is Phwlc podcast. Welcome. I hope you like it here. You are now listening to the introduction to this podcast, where I'm supposed to tell you all about it, or at least something about it. I guess it would make more sense for you to just read the podcast description on this page. But please do stay and let's get acquainted. I really wanted to do a good job, so I did my homework and found something that I absolutely love. I stumbled upon the words of Anne Hanley, a writing content expert. She said, "Content is everything that light touches." I couldn't agree more. And as far as the podcast description goes, in my opinion, that would do. But just in case, I'll tell you what the light will touch most often here. Obviously, all things related to teaching, learning, and personal growth. But also mindfulness, authenticity, lifestyle, relationships, and stories. Telling, reading, and sharing. So basically, everything. I know, there was no need to overdo it and do this resemblance of research to say something this obvious. Especially knowing I do it my way anyway. As you can see, I didn't really niche down much. But I like finding proof to what I believe in and learn what I don't know yet. I have a feeling you do too. What I'm really trying to say, I'm thrilled to be doing this, and I hope it will be useful for you. Of course, only time will show if it is. But to help you along, I'll share some thoughts of mine on the main points so that you could decide for yourself if coming back is worth it. Teaching, for example, is not only the all-in job, it is the biggest contradiction of all. It certainly deserves more recognition and support than it already has. And though some of its aspects might seem boring or easy to the people outside the teaching world, there's so much to it that makes it incredibly interesting, difficult, and fun. Much passion, huge responsibility, a lot of variety, creativity, and unfortunately, sometimes, a little bit of toxic unhealthy drama. It's amazing how good some teachers are at knowing the right answer from the true one and using it for the greater good, and some of them for their own good. An interesting phenomenon when it's hard to tell the difference between a truly kind heart and an exceptionally huge ego. No judgment. We all have a little bit of both. I know I do. And if there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that it doesn't matter how you label something. You have to look deeper. You have to look broader. It doesn't matter how you label who you are or what you do. What matters is that your heart is in the right place, that who you are and what you do is good for both you and others, that you genuinely care, that you are true to your values, and you don't let anything or anybody change that, while respecting and understanding others all the way. Though we are not responsible for other people's feelings, it does matter how we intend to make people feel. Trying to prove you have no ego, on the other hand, just makes your ego grow. That's not the kind of growth that makes you a good teacher or a happy person. In teaching, as in everything, a lot depends on you. Your skills, knowledge, personality, confidence, beliefs, experience, and imagination. So, working on yourself is a must. You can't live if you don't breathe. You can't teach if you don't learn. We are all teachers inside. At least to ourselves we are. Some of us just enjoy tapping into its full power and feel the calling to do it professionally. Do you feel the same way? I think some of you do. What I like most about teaching is learning and the impact it has on our lives. I think learning is one of the highest forms of self-love. It's also a sweet struggle. With so much entertainment available and FOMO physically hurting, it's lucky that even a few steps forward already make you feel good. They sweeten the pain of focusing on the boring but necessary stuff. It's a blessing that we can reach flow and feel naturally high without actually having achieved anything yet, with no thoughts of achievement whatsoever. The pure joy of flow. So, tell me, when the simplest things are the most difficult to do, and the guilt for inaction is a paralyzing poison, what do you choose on a daily basis? The answer to this one question can tell a lot about you. Don't worry, personal development is a huge commitment to self that many people are afraid to make. We all want to self-improve and constantly talk about it, but do we truly commit? And really do everything we know we should do, everything we want to do, and stay the way we've always wanted to be? My guess is that we don't. Not always, not in a healthy, balanced way. But you know what they say, it is a journey, not a destination. The difference between you playing pretend and you being committed is making deliberate effort. If you are truly committed to personal growth or anything or anybody else for that matter, eventually you will find a way. Unless you are telling yourself the wrong story. In that case, you might go in circles and keep going in circles until you make some changes. If the story you are consciously or subconsciously telling yourself about you or the world prevents you from taking action or being happy, there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with that story. From fairy tales in childhood to what we've been fed in adulthood, stories have had much more power over us than we'd want to believe. They've helped us learn about ourselves and the world more than anything. At the same time, some stories still keep us away from the truth about ourselves and the world. But they all shape our character, and they all shape our future. They also help us escape. But there is no escape from yourself, and wherever you go, there you are. Isn't it interesting to solve a mystery that you are through the stories you tell yourself and others, and learn through the stories that you hear? What do you relate to? What irks you? What stories are you telling yourself? What stories aren't you telling? Don't tell me, the answer is in you. FYI, I have just stolen from myself. Just a few lines from my read page, which is still in painful progress at the moment. When it's done, you might even see where it was taken from. Though I have a feeling I'll have to write that part, you can expect more talk on stories there. This is pre-written, by the way. I have too many thoughts and not enough experience to do a podcast without writing it all down first and rereading it dozens of times. And while we are being honest, here's the story I've been telling myself. There's already a lot of people doing a great job in this field. Why bother? Most everything I want to say is so obvious. What if somebody copies my ideas, God forbids, thinks that of me, disregards them or thinks they're weird? What if somebody with better resources takes the idea and does it faster and better than me? Anybody could do that. I'm not exceptionally good at anything. I just try to follow my heart, do what I've loved doing since I was a kid, and live up to the vision that's been shaping for years. To put it simply, I love what I do and I give it my best effort. But don't we all do that? Afraid we are not enough, do our best and hope it's helpful? Isn't everything we hear almost always seems obvious? Do we really have to first save the world to prove we have the right to be ourselves, live on our terms, and grow in the direction we want? Aren't we all continuously learning? Isn't the perfection we really want a state by choice, a process, and not a series of fixed traits? Does everybody really want exactly what we want and how we want it? Don't we have the ability to course correct, learn from our mistakes, and triple down on working hard if necessary? Does it really matter that much what everybody thinks if we know the truth and stand by it? Can't we just be here and now, already the full expression of who we are? At the end of the day, we all need each other to be just that. Knowing that there are amazing doctors, lawyers, bankers, scientists, entertainers, and so on allows me to focus on teaching the way I see it and feel safe, grateful, because everything else is covered. By being authentic, doing what we love and doing it well, we give each other the freedom and space to be ourselves. Permission granted. Asking myself these questions did not make me more talented or smarter, didn't give me more resources, but it helped me see what I already had. The right to make a choice, to create with all I have. What are the questions you need to ask yourself today? What is the story that's been holding you back? I hope you find your answers. And that's it for today. You've been listening to the introduction to Phwlc podcast. Thank you for being here. I won't lie to you. I hope you liked it at least a little bit. And while I'm fighting my fears, constantly reminding myself, I can and I will, and working on the first season, would you please go and have a look at my blog, visit Brickham shop, and look through available classes. Who knows? You might find something you need. And remember, while you can't change the facts, you can always change what you do with them. Lots of love, Priya.